وزارت امور خارجه آمریکا، جایی که برایان نماینده ویژه وزیر خارجه پومپئو در امور ایران است. سفارت مجازی ایران اخیراً در یک گفتگوی اختصاصی از او در مورد مأموریت جدیدش پرسید.
Of what we've been doing is standing with the Iranian people. And you saw that most clearly in December and in January when there were protesters in the streets, and from the president on down. Across the executive branch, many members of Congress, very strong show of support for the demands that the Iranian people were making on their government. And a lot of those reforms we strongly support. So this job as the Secretary Special Envoy for Iran has a lot of different facets. We have presented a way forward, the kind of things that we need the regime to do differently, the behaviors that we need to see changed. And if the regime is willing to have those discussions and change those behaviors so that they can behave like a normal country and enjoy the privileges of a normal country, we're ready to have that conversation. We know that many Iranians are struggling to afford a lot of the basics, and this is happening at a time when the regime is spending billions of dollars outside of Iran, and they're robbing their own people blind.
سپس از آقای هوک در مورد علاقهش به مسئله ایران پرسیدم.
When I first started working in foreign policy, I was posted up at the U.S. mission to the United Nations, and the first issue that I worked on was Iran. And that was the beginning of what's now in its 12th year of working on Iran policy. It certainly has been a big challenge for the United States, given the range of threats that the regime presents not only to the United States, but to the region and abroad. And so for the last 12 years on and off, I've had a chance to work on Iran. And in that role as the new envoy, it really has freed up my time to work exclusively on Iran and to make as much progress as we can.
Great. خب الان که شما فقط روی ایران کار میکنید، آیا هیچ وجهی از ایران هست که بیشتر دوست دارید؟ مثلا غذا، فرهنگ. وقتی در مورد ایران مطالعه میکنید چه چیزی به ذهنتون میاد؟
Well, this is a country, it's an ancient land with a rich and amazing culture. And it's something which President Trump has talked about a number of times, that this is a great people with a great and noble history. I grew up in Iowa, which is in the middle of the United States. It is not known for being a home of the Iranian diaspora in the way that places like Los Angeles and New York are. So I didn't grow up around Persian food. But here in where I'm living in Washington, D.C., there's a Persian restaurant in my neighborhood, and we eat there a few times a month and eating a lot of kubada and saffron ice cream, and my kids have also certainly enjoyed the saffron ice cream. So
great. شما به عنوان فرد اصلی در وزارت خارجه در مورد سیاست‌های ایران چه می‌خواهید به کسی که در ایران این مصاحبه را نگاه می‌کنه بگید؟
What is our policy towards Iran exactly?
Well, our strategy has various components. One that you just mentioned was the sanctions policy. Our sanctions are designed very exclusively to deny Iran the revenues that it uses to fund terrorism and fund its militias around the Middle East. It is not directed at the Iranian people. And in fact, our sanctions regime very explicitly has exemptions for food and medicine and humanitarian relief. And so that's not going to change. But what is important is that people understand that we are very serious about challenging the regime's power projection around the Middle East. This really is the last revolutionary regime on earth. It exports its certain ideology around the Middle East, and it's very destabilizing. So when you look at the last 39 years of this regime, it's been in a state of crisis. The regime has made so many bad choices with their management of their economy and a lot of the decisions they make to spread terror and violent misadventures around the Middle East. That's causing a decline in foreign direct investment. The United States is not causing the decline in foreign direct investment. That existed prior to the president leaving the Iran deal. Corporations around the world are ending business with Iran because they don't know when they do business with this regime whether they're supporting commerce or terrorism. The Iranian regime has created an economy that is deliberately opaque. It doesn't follow banking standards. Because if it did, it would expose just how much money laundering and how much money is going overseas and is not being spent on the Iranian people. And so if the Iranian regime would stop making such bad decisions, then we can have these sanctions lifted. And then we can have an increase in foreign direct investment. The United States has a very positive vision that is a bright future for the Iranian people and for the American people. And so we can get there. We can integrate Iran into the global economy. They don't need to be an international pariah. But this is now 39 years of being an international pariah, 39 years of crisis. And if the regime is willing to start making better decisions, it's going to benefit the Iranian people, and it's also going to create the conditions for a bilateral relationship with the United States.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.